So here's the studio tour. It's been a couple months in the making. I've been kicking the can down the road, so here it is. Let's get into it. All right, and here we have the door to the studio. When you walk in, you'll see all the shelving I have for drums and stuff and all sorts of stuff. So right next to it, here we have a little cymbal divider that I made just, for the extra cymbals I have. I don't have a ton of cymbals, but, for the future, if I do get more cymbals, I want to have plenty of space for them. And then moving right along, here we have my 1980s Pearl export that I got for a killer deal at Guitar Center. There's the bass drum, and then got some cases that I got for free off Marketplace. And then here we have this shelf that actually came with the house when we moved. And the shelves were evenly spaced apart, but I had to undrill the little piece of wood that was supporting it, and then I moved it up a little bit so that bottom shelf can support bass drums, that middle one can support floor toms, and that one can hold rack toms. And then this shelf was a little bit more squat shelf, so I put extra drum heads that I have. Most of them are used, but it's always good to have extra on hand. Then right here we have a little cabinet where I keep stuff like extra drumsticks, floor tom legs. It's a little bit of a mess, but just kind of a catch-all cabinet. Then down here we have the bass drum that I rewrapped. Then more storage space for bass drums and stuff. This I will turn into a pancake bass drum at some point, but I need to get parts for that. Here are the toms to the drums that I rewrapped. Yamaha SK275 Piccolo, which I love that snare. I do need to get a Rezo head for it. This snare, which actually I have not made a video on, and I think it's in like 1 or 2 of my YouTube shorts. It was originally a Coda Drums snare drum, just like a cheaper brand, that I painted and replaced the throw-off and butt plate on. And this is a PDP throw-off. Now, nothing against PDP, but I like to have my snares with high snare wire tension. Some may say it's choked, but I personally like that sound. And it did bend a little bit on the arm, so I had to kind of bend that back a little bit. So again, nothing against PDP, it's just not very good for high tension. Then moving along, we have this shelf that I got for free, which I will get rid of at some point because I actually got a bunch of these from the dollar store. And these just fit my needs a little bit better and more of what I was looking for. Got this at Walmart for the bigger pieces. So I have like a ton of these plastic little storage bins. So I will get rid of that at some point. And then here we have a table that I got for free off the side of the road, which I do keep next to my workbench when I'm doing drum projects. And then this was actually a little side table I used for a little bit when I would be drumming and stuff. I'd put my phone on there, drum keys, whatever. And then these are actually extra cutoffs from the sound panels that I have to dampen the noise inside the drum room. So yeah, one of them's painted, but I do need to paint the rest of them. Then moving along, we have my cabinet here, which is the same as that cabinet, except just a little bit smaller. This is where I keep all my chemicals on this side, then shop towels. Then here I just keep dowels, Q-tips, extra storage bags, as you can see right there, a little tray, gloves, homemade big fat snare thing. So yeah, just kind of a catch-all cabinet, again, same as the other one. Then moving along, this is just kind of a, like a shelf just for cool stuff that I find, just old junk. Sign that I got at a garage sale for only 25 cents. The door to the studio. A big sound panel because I had I think it was 2 or 3 of these big ones. And then we have the shelf, again, just another catch-all shelf with cool stuff, drum catalog and stuff. Here we have my workbench and then tools and stuff, but we'll come back to that later. All right, so here we have the studio itself. We got some carpet, which I got for free. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but it definitely does the job for helping deaden the sound and keep my drums from sliding around. And next, we have the sound panels, which are actually made out of oak straw. So that means they're very fibrous, which is kind of a good thing, but it's also a bad thing because they were all white, as you can kind of see. And unfortunately, not all the paint soaked through. Some of it got, most of it got absorbed, but some of it left some white spots. But I think it looks kind of cool, but I will at some point come back there and put some of this egg cradle foam on it because these don't absorb sound the best, but they do make it a lot better. All right, so here's the story of how my drum studio and workshop came to be. So originally, this wall wasn't here. It was just a big open room that was 30 foot long by 13.5 foot wide, which when I set up my drums, when I first got here, it did sound cool, but I wanted to treat the sound and dampen the room and make it a little bit better for recording. So I was trying to come up with cheap and better alternatives than having to spend a crap ton of money on sound dampening materials and stuff. And my dad came up with the good idea of splitting the room in half. So we got some 2x4 studs, and we put up some OSB to make a wall. And yeah, there's no insulation in the walls, which I could do, but honestly I don't see the need for it because, the treatment in here is not really necessary because it's a workshop. And in there, I'm just gonna get more egg cradle foam, like I said earlier in the video, to, you know, help treat the little bit of echoiness in there still. So yeah, nothing too fancy, you know, just kind of split the room in half. So I believe the workshop side is a little bit bigger than the studio side, but yeah, all in all, really happy with it. So yeah, that's kind of the story of it. All right, so here's a little bit more about my workbench. Like I was saying earlier in the video, got my workbench and my tools. Now I'm just gonna quickly go through my tools. Got a 1 and 2 size set of Phillips and slotted. Got some bits there. Got a squeeze clamp, scissors, hammer, file, just for all sorts of stuff when I'm fixing drums. Squeeze clamps, I don't know, for spring clamps or whatever they're called. These have lighter tension. This one's got a crap ton of tension, so it's good if you're trying to really clamp something down. Razor blade, because you never know when you need to cut something up. Then we got pink and purple duct tape. We got a couple of different colors of electrical tape. Got my Craftsman drills, you know, nothing fancy, but good to keep them down here, you know, just so I know where they are if I'm gonna be doing a project or a drum project, you know, so anything of the sorts. Got a little basket that goes into the pegboard for my vice grips. Got a set of needle nose, got a big pair, and then got a bigger pair of normal vice grips, and then got some smaller pairs. Got a Sharpie and a Milwaukee Inkzol because this marker is actually really good. Yeah, so just, you know, general tool stuff that I might need for when I'm fixing drums. Then got a charger for my batteries. Then we got a vise right here, which was only 40 bucks, which is a pretty good deal. And it's a 4-inch vise, nothing crazy, you know, just good enough I'm needing to fix something, so yeah. Then my workbench, I actually made a video for this way back in the summertime. I think it was like June or July when I had it built, but just a quick run over of it. It is 5 foot wide, I believe, and it is about 36, maybe 36.5 inches tall. And on here we got like a little old school coat hook for rags and stuff that I like to keep right there. Got a power strip underneath there, that's where I keep my charger, and then got the rest of the outlets open in case if I need it. And then got a paper towel holder that I built for shop towels for when I'm cleaning stuff up. So yeah, nothing fancy, but definitely works for what I need. So in summary, not the fanciest workshop and drum studio in the world, but it works for what I need. And I will be doing upgrades at some point to the drum studio, but I'll let you guys know when I'm doing that. So yeah, in summary, hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next one.